Hey guys, welcome to my October plan with me. So we're going for a spooky Halloween kind of theme again this year. I know last year I said I didn't do Halloween, but we had a bit of fun with it, so I thought why not do it again. So I'm doing some acrylic paint. You can see I've already painted a background and now we're just putting a moon over the top. I could have done the moon first, which would have saved me a lot of layers of paint, but I kind of wanted that darkness to show through a little bit behind it, so that's why I've done it this way. So my journal has 160 GSM paper, so doing lots of layers of paint on it like this isn't too bad. It hasn't damaged the paper. It did warp it slightly, but that's okay. I don't mind that. So I'm just doing a layer, getting out the hairdryer and letting it dry, doing another layer and building up that moon till it gets to the level we want it to be, because I want to do a silhouette of a spooky house over the top for my cover theme this month. And then we'll also set up the actual functional part of my monthly setup once we finish doing this more creative page. So just slowly building up the moon. While I was doing this, I realised I hadn't put any paper to protect the underneath pages. So some paint did get onto the edges of other pages, but that's okay. But I did then put paper underneath, as you can see now, to stop any extra spillage. So now I'm just using my Pigma microns to just draw in roughly where I want the design to go, so that when we come in with the paint, we can just go straight over the top and don't have to worry about putting black paint anywhere where we don't want it to be. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments, guys. Do you prefer the plan with me is like this, with me talking about what I'm up to and what the process is over the top? Or do you prefer the ones I do that are a bit more sped up with just the music playing? I can never decide which way is the better way to go, so I'd love your feedback. Let me know what you prefer. While you're there, don't forget to give us a like, maybe subscribe if you want to be notified when I upload some more videos. Got lots of things planned for the next few months. Hopefully time will allow them to happen when they're supposed to. Alright, so just coming in with the black acrylic paint now to do the silhouette of this house. So I've got a thicker brush to begin with, so I'll come back and do the details after I've got the main shape in. So we'll just put in the basics. Glad I had that paper underneath for this part because it did kind of go everywhere. So the nice thing about doing a silhouette too is it doesn't matter how artsy you are. It's, as long as you can get the basic shape, you know, because you're not putting in a lot of the detail, it's something that's pretty achievable for pretty much anybody. But yeah, as I said, just be careful that your journal can stand up to this kind of painting in it. Otherwise, paint it on a piece of card or a piece of paper and then stick it in afterwards. Oh, sorry about my head getting in the shot a little bit there, guys. Sometimes it's hard. I forget sometimes that I'm meant to be sitting back and when I'm trying to lean in and see detail. So let's put in that. Now, if there's any other content you guys specifically want to see, let me know that in the comments too, because I'm trying to create stuff that is going to help you in your journaling and in your creative process. And if I know what you need and what you want, then I can certainly work on doing that, getting those things for you, rather than creating a whole heap of stuff that is pointless to you. Alright, so that's the basic shape of the house done. So now we're going to put in a bit of a spooky tree on this side. Again, we don't have to worry too much about detail, as long as we've got the fundamental shape there. And I did want to take this tree off the moon a bit and onto that background. I know it's a bit harder to see out there, but I like that use of space better than having it all within the circle. Just building that tree up. Let's do the body of these bats before I switch to a thinner brush to do the wings and add the detail to the house. Got to be a bit careful. It was a bit tricky coming over that centre fold. Even though this journal does technically lay flat, paint still likes to fall down into that centre fold a little bit, so you do need to be a little bit careful of that if you're painting straight in. So just add a bit of detail on here, put some windows on, put in some little bits around in the yard, maybe the little, I don't know what they're called, those little spike bits on top of the roof that I'm sure have some sort of a fancy name that I don't know, but you know what I mean, you'll see them in a second. Those things. So that's pretty much our painting done. I did just get a acrylograph out to do the lettering because I thought that would be great rather than trying to letter with a paintbrush. However, I don't know if it's just me or if you guys have the same problem. I can never seem to make acrylographs work the way I want them to, so I ended up giving up, mixing up some paint and just painting it on with a brush. So what I'm going to do, first layer is really just about trying to get the shape of the letters because, you know, it's hard to paint several layers and be lettering at the same time. So I've got the basic shape, so then we can just go back over and put on as many layers over the top of that as we need to get the heading done. It's nowhere near as neat as I would have liked, but, you know, it's not exactly easy to write with a paintbrush. That's what I learnt from this experience this month, guys. So we're just doing another layer. And that second O, as you can see, got really messy and fat because there was a bristle on my brush that I needed to pull off that was sticking out, but it got really messy. So I actually decided to fill that one in on the last layer and turn it into a pumpkin. It's the other nice thing about doing this sort of painting. It's very easy to change your mind and do something else. So that's done. I know painting straight into your journal is scary. I was quite scared of it for a while, but really just give it a go. Have some fun with it. Get creative. It's your journal. It's not perfect. It doesn't matter. So long as you're happy and you had fun, you know. It's good for your mental health to just get in there and give it a go. So I'm just using the texter to put an outline around the lettering now, just to clean that up and neaten it up a bit. And also turn that second O into the pumpkin. And I will just use the pen as well in a second, just to straighten up some of my lines on the windows and just a couple of little bits where the paint dried not quite the way I wanted it to. So we're just going to touch this up a bit. And then we'll be pretty much done and we'll move on to the functional part of our monthly. I'm not sure about how these bats turned out. The smaller one at least looks more like a raven than a bat, but that's okay. That still fits the theme, so we'll run with that. Okay, so that's that done. We'll take off our protective paper now. You can see a little bit of paint did spill over there, but that's okay because I'm going to put washi across the top anyway. And it'll cover it mostly. Sorry about turning the book upside down there, guys. It's really hard to line up the edge of the page and keep my head out of the camera without turning it over. So I'm just trimming off the excess of the washi, but then I'm going to use my corner cutter to actually cut the rounded corner of it, just because it's so much easier than having to fiddle around with the scissors to do it. So these two pages are going to have my monthly calendar on the right hand page in a vertical calendar style. The left hand page that I'm doing now is about my tasks, so it'll have my goals for the month, and then a spot for me to track my tasks, the monthly ones that need to just be done once, and then the things that need to be done weekly will also be on this page. I've moved all of my habit trackers and mood trackers and things into my weeklies rather than having them at the front, because I find that works better for me. It means I actually use them. I don't forget about them up the front of the month like I was doing. So the monthly ones will go there, weeklies underneath. Then I am going to use a bit of washi just as a bit of an underline. So that's just a dark galaxy type washi I'm using there. So most of these washies and stickers that I'll be using today are actually from last year's September, I think, Villa Beautiful kit, because none of my Halloween stuff that I ordered has arrived yet, because I live in Australia and that's the joys of living in Australia. Nothing ever gets here on time for the holidays. Okay, so days of the month all down the left hand side. I'm going to use an orange pen to mark out the days of the week, and then I'll use a grey pen to put in the weekend days, just so I can easily see at a glance what days make up each week and what days are the weekends. We all need to know where they are. So then my weekly, I need to put a spot to mark off for each of the 4 weeks that we have. And we're going to mark the weekends with this grey line. Some of them are a bit wonky, but I have tried ruling these lines before and they just still never work out properly. I'm never happy with the way they come out ruling them, so I've decided to embrace the imperfection and just do my lines freehand from now on. I don't mind how that comes out. I'm happier to have wonky lines that I've deliberately left that way than to try and make them straight and, they still turn out wonky. So orange for the weekdays, grey for the weekends. So again, at a glance, you can easily see where you're at. And that's pretty much the functional part done. So I'm just checking how many spots I need there for each of my trackers. You could use that as is like that, but of course I have to add some decoration. So back into that old Villa Beautiful kit. Box down here, that's going to be my focus for the month. And the space next to it will be where I'll put important dates like birthdays and things like that. And then we're just going to go in with some decoration. As much or as little as you want. I'm not going too Halloween-y for this actual page, but just bring in a few of those darker, spookier elements to tie it in with what's going to happen throughout the rest of the month. I'll be putting, hopefully, if my computer cooperates, because I've been having some problems, but hopefully I'll be putting up some videos of my weekly plan with me's. But if not, remember you can always check out my Instagram page. There's photos of my weeklies posted over there every week. So you can see what I've done with the rest of the month over there. So just a bit of decorative stickers now. Obviously you can draw designs in. I did that last year, hand drew all of my Halloween designs. But this is how we do a quick, easy, functional monthly setup. So there it is. Remember, give me a like, let me know in the comments what content you want to see and whether you prefer voiceovers or music. and hit subscribe if you want to be notified when I upload some more content. Have a great October, guys. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video.